Today's episode is inspired from my Self-Care Society class titled Honoring Your Growth. And when we originally did this class, it was right around the winter solstice. So you'll hear a little bit of language about that. But I'm wishing you all a happy holidays and a really beautiful new year. And on that note, before we jump in, I wanted to let you know that we recently launched our 6th U-Year program, and it's unlike anything we've done before. While many choose to do the U-Year program at the start of the new year, it's also the perfect way to kick off a new birthday, a life transition, or for any time you're looking for a fresh start. You're going to gain lifetime access, so grab it now and dig in at any time. And if you love the idea of creating an inspiring, realistic, and exciting annual plan for the year ahead, as well as creating the systems to truly live that out, U-Year will help you do all that and more. And you can learn more at selfcaresociety.co. All right, so this quote comes from, it's actually an unknown author. It's a winter solstice blessing and says, "May you find peace in the promise of the solstice night, that each day forward is blessed with more light, that the cycle of nature, unbroken and true, brings faith to your soul and well-being to you. Rejoice in the darkness, in the silence find rest, and may the days that follow be abundantly blessed." So I hope you'll take that with you into this season and into the new year. And today's episode is all about growth. And it's really common that this time of year we're thinking about growth. We're thinking about what we want for what's ahead. And so what I want to do is practice our embodiment first, because it's not all about mindset. I was recently talking with Kate Northrup about this. We have to involve our body and our emotions and our physicality into these shifts if we really want to see change. And so that's why we practice this pause and practice embodiment exercise. So before we go into that, I just want to think about, okay, so how does the dictionary define this word growth, or the word grown? And it's to undergo natural development by increasing in size and changing physically, progress to maturity, or to become larger or greater over a period of time, to increase. And I don't know about you, but I love personal development, and I'm always looking for that growth for myself. I'm always looking for that expansion and growing into the next version of myself. So now let's really do the embodiment practice. Okay. So close your eyes if that feels safe to you. And I invite you to just feel into what it feels like to grow, to feel like you're growing, to feel a sense of growth in your body. For me, it's a really expansive, beautiful feeling. It does make me feel how the dictionary defined it: bigger, bolder, grander. And just stepping into, it feels like I'm stepping forward, I'm moving forward, motion, expansion into who I desire to be and who I want to be. And so notice that in your body so that you can come back to it anytime you feel like you want to lean into your own expansion and your own growth. And take it with you today during our exercises and beyond if you can, and especially as you start planning for the new year and what's ahead for you. Bring that embodiment of growth with you. So for me and for many, this time of year really makes us want to really lean into growth, as I mentioned. And I've been especially inspired by our U-Year program and how the all new sort of structure that we did it in, because it's this holistic vision of the life that I desire and how I want to feel in it. Instead of just a list of to-dos that can feel really overwhelming and unrealistic, we're looking at, okay, how do I want to feel in the life that I desire and dream of? And at the end of the day, I'm always trying to grow closer to a life that feels good on the inside, with how I'm feeling being the key piece of that. I remember learning that all our goals and intentions and ultimately our desires for growth are actually rooted in how we think we'll feel when they are true for us. When I heard that, I was like, oh, feelings, that's the foundation. And I've found that as I set my intentions with the guiding focus on feeling a sense of ease and joy and spaciousness, simplicity, security, things that are important to me, I've felt the truest leap in growth that I have in so long. Now, these days, growth for me is less about doing and having more and much more focused on true enjoyment, on fulfillment, and just the impact on my life. Growth for me personally looks like releasing food rules, scheduling myself in an empowering way, setting boundaries, spending more time unplugged, seeing and feeling my body get stronger, being present and proud of how I raise my daughters, growing a better garden, and more of that sort of thing. So it's just this willingness to really rest and to ask for support. For me, it's a shift towards playing more, for living with less clutter, for paying things forward, and for being helpful where I can. So I encourage you to think about, what is it for you? How has growth evolved for you over the last decade? How might it have changed for you over the last decade, and what you start valuing it, how you want to feel? So a few tips for you, 3 tips here on how to cultivate more growth in your life. So the first is that you want to set growth goals based on how you want to feel in your life. When you think of yourself growing in the direction of your dreams, how do you feel in that vision of life? When you envision it, like, what are the core desired feelings that come up? The second is to not forget to define what growth actually means to you, because it can look really differently for different people. So for some, it might be making a certain amount of money. And for some, it might be getting through the day without a drink or without binge eating, or maybe just getting through the day, period. Okay. So for some, it might be working out more. And for some, it actually might be resting more. We're all different, and that's what makes us beautiful. So you really have to define what growth looks like for you. And the other tip I'll tell you is that you have to remember that growth happens gradually in the tiny micro habits and choices that you make in your daily life. A great life, as I've said, is just a series of great days. So you really need to know and trust that there is progress in even those small moments. Okay. So to achieve big dreams and growth, really, it's about starting to set yourself up for your day with the small steps that actually get you closer to where you want to be. And even they may not feel like big leaps or enough, but know that growth is happening in those moments. That's where the growth happens on the journey, in the little choices and the micro habits. All right, let's practice feeling more growth together with some exercises straight from Self-Care Society classes. As always, we'll pause to give you a moment to think, but feel free to stop the recording if you need more time to ponder or write. You'll also hear inspiring examples from our live classes too. And you can join us for a full schedule of live and on-demand classes at selfcaresociety.co. And really, with the new year coming up, there's no better time to join. We've got some great stuff going on. Definitely check it out. If you want the accountability and the consistent daily practice that makes a difference, that's what we're all about. All right. Okay, so let's practice. So we are actually going to start with just an exercise in meditation and mindfulness. So this is called Cultivating Rebirth Energy. And really, I'm just going to encourage you, if it's safe to do so, if you're not driving right now or walking, I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes again and really just listen to my words as we lean into a little bit more mindfulness before we jump into some more tactical exercises. Okay, so the end of the year presents so many opportunities, as well as the important dichotomy of rest and emergence. And the winter gives us the opportunity to really rest and to feel cozy and to go inward. And then from that rested and inward experience, we then get to emerge with more light, just like the sun on this day moving forward from the winter solstice. And whether you love the woo or not, we can really take what this winter solstice represents into our own lives. And can we consider what it might mean for us to wake up every single morning with just a little more light to give? Can you breathe in this feeling of expansiveness? Can you align with what growth means for you? Can you think about having a true rebirth, a blank slate, a fresh start? We're upon this. And can you be honest about what you really want? Okay. What is your soul desire? Can you allow yourself to flow with the cycles of nature instead of forcing against that which simply is? What does it mean to slowly, gradually allow ourselves to grow again? And if your eyes are closed, now is a good time to open them. And take this with you in these questions. These are beautiful things to ponder, especially in this season. And we're going to move into our exercises. So the first exercise is a reflection exercise called Where Have You Grown? I want you to just take a moment to reflect on some of the areas where you've really grown in your life. Now, maybe this year, or maybe just in general, whatever frame of reference you want to look at, depending on when you're watching or listening. And I want you to just kind of make a mental list or written list and be sure to add some details and color to it also. So here's what I mean. Here's an example. I've grown so much in my relationship with my body. I used to despise it and do so many things to change it. And today I nurture it and nourish it. I feel deep appreciation for it and I aim to care for it as best I can. Another example, I've grown a lot in my courage to look at my money and my financial circumstances. I used to avoid it, fearful of what I might see, and today I feel aware and clear with what's happening and where I am spending. Okay, so now's your chance to just pause and take a moment here to think about what some of those growth moments have been for you. And, feel free to add a little bit of color, just like I did. So Christina says, I've grown so much in my ability to set boundaries and ask for what I need without feeling shame. I used to worry so much about what others would think and let it cloud my own judgment about what I needed. I am learning to trust myself. Ashley says, I've grown in my ability to say no and not strive to please others at my expense. Beautiful. So our next exercise is one of gratitude. It's called Gratitude for Today's Growth. Okay, so did you experience any moments of growth today? Yes, today. I don't care how early it is that you're listening to this. Things happen that you could identify and honor as growth. Okay, so even in the smallest of ways, I want you to think about or write gratitude for any moments of growth that presented themselves today. Okay, so my examples. Thank you for the opportunity to choose matcha over another cup of coffee. It feels better in my body and it felt like a decadent change. Thank you for choosing to make lunch instead of order out with the family. I was able to nourish myself with food that I know feels good to me so I could remain present and clear for my big life. Okay, so reflecting on, your day so far. What can you celebrate? Did you have a little growth moment this morning? Breakfast, getting out of bed, whatever it is. Okay, take a moment here. Ash says, thank you for the ease I felt when switching from working on my computer to cooking nourishing food. It feels good to get up, move, and use my brain in a different way. Amy says, thank you for getting my paints out and creating just for fun. Our next exercise is a self-love exercise called Compassion for Your Growing Pains. Okay, so I want you to think about a few things that feel hard right now. And I know that can feel hard to even just go into, but it's important. And I want you to write yourself a loving statement to celebrate the growth that you might be experiencing as a result. So I have a prompt for you here to help. And the prompt is, I know blank is hard right now, but you're growing in blank. Okay, so here's my example. I know new motherhood is hard right now, but you're growing in your ability to ask for and receive support, to prioritize what's important, and to care for another person in beautiful ways. I know all the change from the year is hard right now, but you now have a blank slate and a beautiful opportunity for rebirth and to shape life to align even more with what you desire. So take some time here and think about at least one thing that you're navigating, something that's feeling hard, and then step into a more empowered position, into a growth position, and say, hey, here's what I could be learning. Here's the lesson in this learning, and what I'm expanding into. Okay, so take some time to do that, and then we'll come back. Jess says, I know motherhood is hard right now, but you are learning so much on how to treat others and how to model for your children and slow down in life. It can feel lonely to be a mom post-pandemic, but it is also rewarding as you see your kids thrive and hit milestones. Alexandria says, I know this season is hard right now, but you now have the opportunity to decide how you want to write your own story and show up accordingly. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so our final exercise in our growth session today is a celebration exercise, and it's called Happy Rebirth Day. Okay, so we're going to imagine today that we're celebrating our rebirth day, and we're going to write ourselves a rebirth day card to celebrate, or think about rather, a rebirth day card to celebrate ourselves on all the things that we have ahead to look forward to with this fresh start. Okay, so for example, my rebirth day card to myself says, Dearest Danika, happy rebirth day. I hope you're excited for this fresh start and this blank slate. The world has endless opportunities for you, and you get to pause and really align with what it is you want. What will make your life feel fullest and most authentically happy? With this rebirth, you'll spend so much time in your garden with the sun on your face and noticing the intricacies with each day's new blooms. You have chosen to flow through life without force, following what makes you feel alive and knowing that trusting that energy will never leave you without. I mean, that's what I need to hear over and over. So take a moment to think about your own rebirth day message. What would you want to tell yourself in this season as you start fresh, as you have new beginnings? What do you want to know? How can you inspire yourself? Beautiful work. And we are actually going to have a video share from Ashley and Nati to inspire us a little bit more about our rebirth day message.
Beautiful Ashley. Happiest rebirth day. Clean slate, girlfriend. Let all that go. This is the time you really get to show yourself how aligned and consistent you can be. No more just telling yourself it isn't enough. Your boundaries, your loves, your dreams, they will all come crashing into this most amazing year beyond anything you could have imagined.
Dear Nati, happy rebirth day. I'm so proud of who you've become. I'm so proud of all this growth you have experienced this year. You've given yourself the gift of slowing down, going inward and healing. You're always connected to your loved ones watching over you, and they would be so proud. Remember that this life is not a race, and you are where you need to be. Your life is a gift that keeps giving, even if you don't realize it just yet. Just like someone said, you'll see the story as you put the pieces together.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ashley and Nati. Now, regardless of what you might think, you are growing every single day. And I love doing our reflection practice that we do at the beginning of all of our monthly planning workshops that we do on Self-Care Society. We do these workshops every month at the end of every month. And the first exercise we do in most of these is we just make a list of all that happened that month. And we can go back and use our calendar or our camera reel or, whatever resource helps spark our mind. And it's so powerful to me because I almost always feel shocked at how much occurred that I didn't acknowledge or honor. And I know a lot of our members feel the same way. We hear it every month. And so it's just this reminder that you really are growing every day in so many ways. So I really don't want you to forget to celebrate yourself and how far you've come, even if progress feels slow, even if you feel like there's no momentum, you are growing. And I really celebrate you. Now, I'm so appreciative of you joining me today. I'm wishing you a really happy holiday. I'm hoping that you're feeling a little bit more growth-minded as you move into your day. And I'd love to have you join us at selfcaresociety.co for a live or on-demand class so you can stay consistent with your self-care, connect with other like-minded people, and continue filling your cup so you can overflow onto the world. If you haven't already, you can check out YouYear for a really detailed, doable program to help you plan for the new year or any sort of new transition ahead. I hope to see you very soon, and I appreciate your time today. Happy holidays, and I'm wishing you a beautiful new year.